Hey everyone, finally back from Białystok, from Warsaw and everywhere I've been else. I've been at Programistok and I got this really cool gift. This is a mousepad. This is a traditional regional thing from Białystok or Podlasie, I guess. Really cool stuff, one of the nicest conference gifts ever. I wanted to talk today about delegation, the skill of delegation. It's actually not about the object-oriented delegation, where you have one object and then you think, okay, this object does too much, so I will delegate to another object and I will just check the responses and everything is fine because we have types, so we have compiler errors, warnings, tests, and we can define what's inside in here. This is easy in programming. This is a visualization to say that we cover it in programming very well, because you say, give me this, and if it doesn't give it anymore, then the tests fail or the compilation phase fail. But I want to talk about delegating to other people, which is a skill that I kind of had to learn when I started business. That was really not a conscious thing to learn. It was just required at some point. And it's just like, you have more clients, you have more work to do. At some point you see, and this is like the phase one, you see at some point of your work in your life or your business that, there is more to do than you can handle. And this is an important realization. And actually, I would say many people actually are still before this phase, struggling with these huge backlogs, with huge to-do lists. Even at Programistok, I was asked this question. Everyone at the discussion panel was asked this question, that we do many different things. We have families, businesses, we do lots of things. So how do we do it? And I think the answer lies in the skill of delegation, I think. So the perception of people is that I do a lot, while in fact I think that I don't really do that much, but I delegate a lot. So a lot of things are done, and then I think the perception is that I did all of that. I didn't. But it's super hard. So phase one is understanding that you do too much. Phase two is usually very not unclear, but somewhere there you realize that you need some help. So you ask for someone to help, maybe with cleaning your apartment, maybe with something else in your business, maybe with, whatever, okay. Anyway, you hire someone and you say, like, could you please clean the room and I will pay you some stuff, what's your price, and so on. And phase three is they do the work and you see that they do it badly. Actually, maybe badly is not the word, but they do it not in the way you expected it to be done. And this is a super frustrating part, because you are paying, someone is doing the job that you actually would like to do, but you just don't have the time, and someone does it in a way that you don't like. And then the phase four is, so phase three might be frustrating for a long time. Phase four is when you realize that actually, I have never actually defined precisely what I'm expecting from this job, from this delegation. What is the protocol here? This is why it's easy in programming, but it's hard in real life between real humans. And this is the phase where you okay, you realize this fact, and then you define your expectations in some written way or some, talking way. And then the next phase is that when you see it applied, but it's still not perfect. So then it's a long time of iterating over between your expectation and how this person does the job. And maybe actually they have good ideas of doing this. It's just your way of being used to this was much bit different. And I think this delegating skill is super hard to develop. And especially for developers, we don't really that often have the need to delegate. Actually, we are very often the ones who actually do the job. We are the ones who people delegate some work to. So I've had this kind of opportunity to have this delegation need because I run business. But even among programmers, we can train this skill when we have a bigger project and we try to ask some colleagues to help, and then we can be. Unless we define some API, that might be a problem. But in real life, we can train the skill if you can afford this with things like cleaner, babysitter, people who can help you with certain things more often than once, because once is a bit easier. But if you have some kind of repeating tasks or some kind of repeated cooperation, then it's a bit harder. So I think it's worth it. Like I can't really find right now that many reasons for a programmer to develop this skill, but I think it's good to realize that, especially if you see at your as programming, there's a good talk about being involved in open source, and some people are saying like, oh, I have so many things to do. I'd love to do open source, but I just don't have time, right? And that's a huge problem, obviously. But maybe you can find those little things in your daily tasks that you can find a person to delegate to. I will talk about roles very soon in one of the videos, but then you can detect some things. Usually one task is not enough. It might not be worth for some kind of different person to come and help you. But if you group those tasks into roles, you can see that actually one person has something to do here. And maybe they can come and help you 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week with cleaning the room or whatever else, right? So I think that's a good training, and suddenly you will find time, because as developers we usually have the problem of lacking time, and this way we can solve this problem. So maybe this is actually the motivation. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.